Yeah.
I have a hot take to start the show today.
All right.
And it shouldn't be a hot take. I feel like people should have just analyzed this a long time ago, but maybe it's just me being over analytical. I don't think Nas's beat should have been bumping.
Huh?
I don't think Nas's beats should have been bumping.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Not when he's in the Jeep sunk in the seat, tinted with his heat.
Beats bumping.
Like it says to me that he's laying low, he's in the cut, waiting on somebody,
But I mean,
So why are your beats going like that?
well,
takes away the
bumping
whole.
bumping has got to be relative, right? Like,
Nah, I think bumping is bumping. Like,
now that you mention it, my forehead is bumping.
like I got a Jeep, right? And I bought the one that I got because it has a premium sound system, and they're like, without the premium sound, I ain't buying this shit because I want my beats to bump. So that's.
Across the street, you was wilding, talking about how you ran the island in '89.
But how come nobody said anything about this before?
I cocked the baby, not
Nah, it's got to make better decisions when you're trying to.
I don't know. It made for better scene in somebody's head, and that's what Nas is really, 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 really dope at.
Well, that's
is
the thing,
painting
right?
A picture,
Right? Word. He painted a picture. So when I'm listening to this, I'm picturing him just in the cut, maybe in some like low light area.
Well,
in the car.
If you go further into the verse, it doesn't seem like Nas was intending on staying there very long incognito. Because
Right.
as he said later, he cocks the baby 9, right? And then later on, he's like, why is he on this corner? It's my corner, right?
Yes, but there's at least a small percentage that needed to be incognito.
So also remember, he gets shot. So maybe you're right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like in retrospect, maybe having the beats bumping wasn't a good idea. You kind of gave your location away.
Yeah, so like the beats were bumping, right? He was like, what were you doing on my corner, right? And then I guess he goes to like hit him, try to like, rectify this.
Yeah.
And then I guess he catches one. He says, that burns.
He had to backtrack.
Right.
He had to drop. So how the fuck did he get clapped?
I don't know. I guess it's because
he
the
had the
beats were bumping.
So that's what I was thinking about.
I mean, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, you ready to go?
I thought we were going
Well,
already.
that's how we're gonna start. But then we also gotta let's get ready to podcast.
I can't wait till we get a machine to do that.
A
You
soundboard.
suck at
Listen,
that
man.
sound
I
effect.
never claimed to be.
Then why do you do it?
Because who else gonna do it?
Not me, and maybe the computer when we get it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kiona and Kasson
Weren't
podcast.
we supposed to have that?
We were supposed to have a lot of things.
While I was basking in
We
the
were
sun of
supposed to
Puerto
have,
Rico, weren't you supposed to have gotten this wire?
We were supposed to have a podcast last week, but due to your Puerto Rico trip, we did not. So we lied to the people, and that's why they didn't comment on our shit.
I don't know that that's true.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But
Dude, we didn't
it was a whole week later.
do a
so it
podcast
wasn't
for a
bad.
whole year. It was like a whole year of no podcast.
That's true.
They came
That's
back.
true. Well, anyway,
Which we appreciate.
welcome to episode number 92 of the Kiona and Kasson podcast. I'm your host, Adam, here with my brother, Osama. He's back, bronzed.
Working with like a nice golden brown.
Dude, your ass is tanner than my face. How was your trip?
Beautiful.
Was it worth you not being here last week?
Oh man, of course.
That's why we haven't got.
If you were like,
Patreon
all right,
yet.
you gotta either go to Puerto Rico or
be here for a podcast.
be there, and this is the final decision, right? Like you can either keep going to Puerto Rico or you can podcast every Sunday. But if they said I can go once a month, I don't think we're doing this podcast anymore.
If they said you can go once a month, you're not doing this podcast anymore.
True. We 2 podcasts a week. I mean a month. No,
yeah, we can't start a Patreon
Listen,
when we don't have any content, even for our normal show.
No, I do apologize for being, but we had to take protocol.
Yeah, I think while he was gone, they got a quarantine order.
Yeah. So what happened was they had decided that on the 4th, which was 2 days into our trip, because we left on the 2nd.
Yeah.
If you can add.
Makes sense.
So they, I guess, upgraded Puerto Rico to one of those states that, I guess, when you get back, there's a quarantine mandate or whatever the hell they you call that.
Right. They say don't go mingle with anybody.
Yeah. So work
Chill
actually.
at home for a couple weeks.
So work decided that was a thing too. So,
Yeah.
But
So then, that bled over, of course, into work B that you don't get paid for.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I gotta at least follow this. And it is what it is. But at the same time, my allergies been kicking my ass all week. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, fuck, what the hell is this? But it's just literally allergies. Like outside is undecided whether it wants to be warm or hot.
I feel like
cold.
this week it's starting to turn a corner. It's gonna be more 70s, 80s this week. But like 50s and 60s at night, which I love because I like a good cool sleeping temperature.
Oh, that's good.
I'll run hot.
That's good fire weather.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm trying to, since we got back, I was like, yesterday or 2 nights ago we had a fire. It was nice, just like a good way to end the evening, man.
I mean, that's what this time of the year is for. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to have a fire when it's 90 degrees outside.
Well, at some point, hopefully, it gets to like a hotter day.
Well, for sure.
It's been
honestly,
terrible
let me
out.
tell you something. If the temperature wanted to stay like in the 70s range, like whatever, you can have a couple of 80-degree days here and there, a couple maybe like high 60s. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. No.
First
listen.
of all,
So
what we do we detail on the side, so that kind of weather is perfect for.
Oh yeah. Well,
raining,
that's why I want to get a shop because with a
yes,
shop
obviously.
we can fucking have a climate controlled spot, or at least find a way to combat the fucking the temperature outside. Because like in my garage it'd be fucking 7,000 degrees on a 99-degree day.
Well, also let's not discount what it does for your pockets. Like my fucking gas bill this past month was like $20. I was like, this is great.
Oh, this weather's dope. Like, yeah, I mean, we barely had to we had the heat on, I think, a couple of days because when we got back, it got cold.
Yeah.
And the thing about Puerto Rico, man, that weather never, like, we were there for, for about 2 weeks last month.
Yeah.
And
they extended their trip. These motherfuckers had the nerve to extend their trip while on their trip.
Fuck you, man. I don't understand the logic in not being, like, of course I'm going to extend the trip.
Of course. Listen. Every time I tell you things like this, it's only because I've told you for so many years, go on vacation. Why are you not going on vacation? You should go on vacation. Why don't you go on vacation?
Okay. So full disclosure, I think I said this when I got back from the last one, but this one for sure. Like, honestly, I told her. So, I don't know, man. Like, again, we've probably discussed this, but like when you go on vacation with people and it's hard to find a group of people or even a couple, right, that can be on the same page on a vacation, because usually the girl wants to do more than the guy, I would think, right? Unless you're like our parents, which our dad wants to do more. But I don't think it's sex. I don't think it's gender related. I think it's just
people who want to do things on vacation.
Yeah.
And people who have a different, like, it's your definition of vacation, I guess.
This is why the second trip was so dope. We both went into it like, okay, we're just gonna eat everywhere we can, like that. We try all the food we can. We're gonna stay on the beach. We're gonna stay in the hotel pool, and that's it. And that's literally all we did. We drank on the beach. We played in the fucking water. We drank on the fucking rooftop.
Castles and shit.
Dude, not even I was just
looking for seashells.
Dude,
and shit.
There's literally fighting the waves. It was great.
Did you find a conch out there or something?
A who?
A conch.
That sounds like a terrible word. Don't say that word.
It's a shell.
You're a shell.
Seashell.
Conch.
The ocean.
Never say conch to me again. Don't ever shh to me again either.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on your vacation.
No.
Because fuck you.
I will say though, I will recommend that. Like, it's fun to sightsee, but it's really, if you're looking for the vacation to relax yourself, don't burden yourself with like the trip where your itinerary is so full that you can't even sit for a second, because
there are tourist vacations and there are relaxed vacations.
this is what this one was.
Yeah.
And that was what
Well,
my
that's because you
intention-
had the tourist one before that.
But
A week or two before that.
and then even on that one we were pretty relaxed. We had fun, but this one was more or less what I wanted to be able to kind of reset for work and what I have planned for my year.
Let me ask you, are you glad you guys did it where you went for a week, came back for like 2 weeks and went another week? Or would you have preferred to just gone for 2 weeks flat?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I think you could have went and just stayed for 2 weeks both times and been happy probably.
Oh man.
Anyway, I guess, yeah. So all-inclusive vacations are the ones that you like. Sure, there's fucking
People have beef with
excursions
all-inclusive
and shit.
vacations because they said that you can't get, like, I get it, you can't get the food specifically that you like, but there's got to be something that's there that you're like, okay, I fuck with this.
Listen, we went to the Dominican as a family, right? And we went all-inclusive, and we were there for a week.
And I think we've already discussed this on the podcast.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. But I'm just saying, like, there's buffets every day, and there's something for everybody. Like,
okay, you want to know true beef? You know what my real beef is?
Go ahead.
With sneakers. The sneakers app.
We have this discussion every week as well, or every other week.
But I think it just gets worse and worse. So
I've been able to procure an item through sneakers in the recent weeks.
But yesterday, fuck you. Yesterday there was the shadow, what is it? The Shadow 2.0s?
Yeah, something like that. The ones.
Yeah, so the reverse shadows.
I like them.
Dude, I was watching. So when on these releases, there's a guy on YouTube I watch. He's actually based in Chicago. Unbreakable Kicks, and he'll be he'll literally be going like in live. What am I thinking about here? Just live. He's actually with you live. Live streaming it, and as the seconds dwindle down, and he's like, okay, it released. But yesterday it was weird. So some of the releases were the draw, and some of them were just straight, purchase.
Yeah, did you say yours was a draw?
No, mine wasn't.
Yeah, mine wasn't.
But there were other people that did.
Man, I woke up yesterday. It was like 9:06, and I was like, I turned over and looked at my phone to see what time it was. And of course, I see the sneakers notification. Hey, these shoes are like the draw is now open or whatever, or they're now released. I don't even know what the notification was, but it was the same thing. Just go there, buy it, and then you stand in line. They tell you if you got them, and I didn't.
Can you imagine if they did the same thing to crack? Like, dude, you would have a mutiny. It wouldn't work. So basically what you're doing is you're getting us addicted to shoes. And not only that, like, we're pleading with you to take our money. Like, just take my money, Nike.
As a business, that's when you win. People are like literally fighting to pay you.
But they won't take my money. Just make one more pair and take my fucking money.
What's dude's name? Phil Knight?
Yeah, what about him?
Fucking son of a bitch.
I'm just saying, if you did the same thing to crackheads I don't think are as nice as sneakerheads.
Well, there was already a lot of murder in the crack period.
Dude, and sneakerheads are not the nicest in general.
No, I mean, there's murders involved there too.
I don't get what Nike is doing. Like, if you could just make the money, that's why they've got to get something on the back end of reselling, because there's nothing you could just make more shoes. People would buy them for sure. It doesn't matter how many you've produced. I don't know what they're fearing.
Why don't they just make as many as they can?
That's what I'm saying.
And sell them for a week. They're available for a week.
You could make 1 million.
You have a whole week to get these shoes.
You could make 1 million pairs and then sell out 1 million
But you
pairs.
won't, because the problem is we're going to grab now that many more pairs because they're available.
Okay, but you could still sell that many. Like, there's a way to sell as many as you can.
I feel like we just need to find the resellers, go and murder them, and then
I'm not going to murder anybody over reselling
Well, not me
shoes.
personally, but,
Although I would like a pair of, like, honestly.
Is a very general statement.
If I could just. I don't get it. I hate to equate sneakers to crack. But the thing is, it's so addicting. Addictions like this are crazy. Like,
it is crack. It's crack. I mean, it's
just like
it's an addiction.
It's like fucking cards. I feel like a fucking addict every time I run up into Target.
Addiction is addiction, man. Doesn't
Target,
matter.
Like, motherfucking rednecks up in Wisconsin, I guess, or somewhere, decided that they were gonna fight over it. Like, not only fight, like they tried to like attack this dude. I guess he had his conceal. He pulled out. They didn't get cards, and he was cool, but that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So now, now they don't even sell cards in stores. What the fuck have we come to?
Well, at least Target doesn't sell cards in stores.
I believe that all these other stores are going to follow suit. Once they're going to let Target create the way to handle this, and then they're just going to mimic it.
Target doesn't have any idea how to handle it, man. They've changed the way they handle it 17 times. So right now, like, only thing I'm looking forward to, we talked about this a little before recording, but shout out to Aaron, man. We're about to get a break tonight. So the only way that I've really been able to.
Does Aaron watch?
He does. I think, yeah.
What up, Aaron?
What up,
Aaron?
they had the greatest role in the movie. They just sat in the middle of the stands, and he just shot a bazooka straight at the light. Destroyed everything.
Frenchie!
He told him to hold his lollipop, and dude
he put the fucking lollipop in his mouth.
Yeah.
Red light, green light. Red light, green light.
For those of you who don't know which movie,
Money Talks.
Money Talks.
I remember. So there's got to be movies.
Chris Tucker had he had a period, man, where Chris Tucker was the man.
Oh, for sure. And so listen, for those who do comment and interact,
Where the hell y'all been?
Yeah, one. Where y'all at, dog? Where were y'all at? Anyway, secondly, what I'm about to ask right now is just comment what you
Don't tell them that.
So
They don't like to be controlled.
so listen, no. So listen, we had a few movies that we rented or borrowed that when we got them, we watched them many, many times.
True.
In the time, because okay, so listen, for those comment beneath or below or whatever people say.
Comment where you can comment.
Yeah, in the comment section. What is a movie that you remember renting? Okay, because also this requires you to have been alive during a specific era.
When you can rent movies and not just like
I think
on
this is
the computer.
This has got to be pre-DVD era.
Let's say if you've
right?
ever been to a Blockbuster.
So yeah, because like this is pre-DVD era probably, right?
Yeah.
Because
well, even DVD era.
Because
honestly.
I'm thinking around the times of like 90
VHS. You were
from 90 to like 97 or something like that.
VHS you were disincentivized to watch it again and again because you had to rewind.
Exactly. So that made it even more crazy to do.
Yeah.
So I remember two of them.
Unless you were fortunate enough to have one of those rewinders.
Oh man, if you had that, you were rich, dude.
We didn't have that shit.
You got spoons.
Don't you climb trees?
No, motherfucker. No, anyway, yeah, we got bills and shit. So I remember two, right? I remember two movies, and correct me, there might be more, but we rented. Do you hear like a echo?
I hear nothing.
Okay, cool. So
I literally hear nothing.
So one of our guys in one of the old neighborhoods we grew up in, he had Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can only have it for a day or one night. It's like, motherfucker,
man, stingy. Yeah,
I was like, yo. He's like, I want to watch it again. I was like, fuck you, dude. But like this, you gotta remember, this is a time where we either rented and you can only have it for fucking 2 days or 24 hours, and it costs at least $12.99 to rent. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
shit was ridiculous,
dude. It was expensive.
But I also believe he only had a few movies, and this was one of them.
Well, production was very low, I guess.
So we watched I think we watched it like 6 or 7 times in that day, in that time, and that might be the magic number because we also when we rented Money Talks. Okay, so for those who remember Satellite, right? Mm-hmm. Remember at the beginning, so in the pay-per-view movies section, they would let you watch like 5 or 7 minutes of a movie, right? Yeah. Don't tell nobody, but if you caught it late night, you could catch some Skinamax type movies.
You might catch a booty, a booty cheek.
Yeah, and at that age, that's all you really need. A few seconds, bada boom, bada bing, you're fucking back to watching Disney Channel.
Like, all right, that adult moment I just had was great.
That was awesome. Now, what is Nick at Night doing? Nick, Nickelodeon.
Some Keenan and Kel on or something.
Right, like some
nasty switch.
Like you ain't just do that. Like it goes from and then it goes. You switch over. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda.
As a kid, before I had an experience as such, but I knew about it. I was sitting here like, man, people just be doing that shit, and then they go back to their normal daily life.
Yeah,
or just pretending like that shit never happened.
That's just like a thing. Like you gotta go to the bathroom. No, I'm gonna go beat off real quick.
No, not even just that. The whole coitus, all that. Before I knocked the boot, I was like, damn, these people just get real nasty.
Like we fuck and then we go do things.
They got real nasty in there.
Me and my sugar. The next. Anyway, I remember we got real teased by that fucking pay-per-view thing. Not during the late night Skinamax.
Right.
But we were I remember we were just watching it and we were like, oh, Money Talks. Oh, we thought they were gonna. That's the first time we realized it because we were watching like, oh, they're gonna let us watch Money Talks
because we didn't know what like an HBO package was.
No, we ain't get that. and then it cut off. We're like, fuck. So we literally were like, okay. Whenever like it was fucking okay to spend $12 on a movie or whatever the fuck it cost at this point, we went and rented it, and I remember we only had it for like a day or a night and a day.
Yeah,
and we watched it. I think again another 6, 7, or 8 times. That movie was one of our favorites growing up.
Yeah, I mean,
Money Talks was hilarious.
Like that was binge watching things. Like you didn't have a streaming service, so we threw in the same movie and watched that shit mad times. Like,
yeah, binge watching is I think binge watching now is just mad nasty.
I want to take a small quick branch off of this conversation and just say shout out to our across the street neighbor Brian. You know, that's the few times that we did have HBO back in the day when we had satellite. You know, he was able to get a card. We unlocked some shit.
I don't know if you
Allegedly.
remember, but it almost never really worked.
It worked maybe like
we'd have it for like a day and they'd scramble it.
Underground
like, well,
shit.
Fuck you too, man.
Back in the day, like you didn't hack iPhones. You hacked the satellite card.
There weren't no fucking iPhones to hack.
Right.
Cell phones really didn't get popping until like early 2000s.
Yo, man, that was cool having.
Like I remember people having them. Like I remember our parents had like the PrimeCo phone or some shit, and that motherfucker was big as hell, big ass brick phone, and it was only one phone. And
those were the days where like your house phone, you didn't have to dial the area code. You wouldn't make
that. Well, there was also a time where calling the next state or a few states over was expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
There was a time where to call somebody overseas, you had to enter 34 numbers, and by the time you had a 5-minute card your shit had 34 seconds. You'd be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to." You'd be like, "Ah!"
Like if you were trying to use this shit in jail, by the time you finally got the phone to ring, they'd be like, "All right, time's up." Shit took mad long.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, it was.
I remember when we finally were able to just call directly. That shit was nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like you think about it, right? Our pops is he moved here from overseas. Just say we would wrap it up that way.
Yeah.
And in order to communicate with his family, most of them back home, you know, he had to always use a calling card. And it was just a process. Like he wanted to talk to him, but he talked to him maybe once a week. Like he had to limit it and shit.
It's like dial the number. Dial the country's code. Dial the calling card's number, and that's like 56 number. You're like, fuck. And then you like if you fuck up, you gotta like end the call because like there's no way to backspace on a call like that back in the day.
Throw a little falsetto over Benny's gunshots, and that's what it sounds like.
Like this is ridiculous. Like I don't like at some point you're like I don't even want to talk to them. I mean, fuck.
And then you do all that, and it's like 15-minute calling card. You have 10 minutes.
Dude, like, the minutes like it wouldn't take it took like literally if you called or if you began a call you missed out on 5 minutes automatically,
and it would give you updates to know where you're at, but it would take like 10 seconds to tell you, so that would feed into your time. You can't hear the other person when they're telling you.
You literally felt like remember back in it like those movies where it shows like switchboards back in the 50s or something, and it's just like mad chicks working. I don't know why it's always women, but it's always women
because
like
the 50s
and they're literally taking lines and connecting them to other lines so people can speak to them. What happens like what does a wrong number look like back in the day?
Well, I mean, they didn't have as
Bitch, you put me in the wrong hole. What the fuck?
they didn't have as many digits back then, I don't think, you know.
It was enough to get fucking confused by.
For sure. Remember operator? Dial 0 for operator.
What happened
there
to
was
those?
somebody on the other line just answering that, no matter who pressed 0.
Can you imagine just being the operator like, girl, this shit is some bullshit. Click. Hey, operator, can I help you?
You'd ask them anything. They were like concierge
how
service.
many motherfucking people like are calling the operator? How many operators existed?
I don't know.
Where did they keep them?
Shout out to them, because when they lost their jobs, I don't know what caused the crash of the operator.
Speaking of lost jobs, I was thinking the other day while I was driving through the iPass, they've completely eliminated in-person iPass things,
which is terrible because now you're more inclined to get a ticket without the in-person operator.
Well, not really. I mean, you just
they have cameras everywhere.
Well, what are you doing? You're gonna get a ticket regardless. What stealth Batman vehicle do you have that they weren't able to fucking detect you before?
I mean, I guess before it was different because you didn't have an iPass lane, and you had every lane had a what's it called the cross arm down. You pulled up to them. Yeah,
so I don't know where you get.
I don't know.
Why would you get a ticket now and not before doing stupid shit through the iPass?
In all honesty, by the time I was driving, iPass lanes existed. They've been around for a long time. I've been driving for 15 years.
Dude, you know how long it took them to finish that? Like 45. Some construction projects don't even just progress. Some years they just be the same.
And these dumbasses still have it where it bottlenecks from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, and then you have to merge with that. I'm like,
it's literally an hourglass.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you do this?
The Kennedy in the Chicagoland area, for those who are unfamiliar. You know.
So where's the worst traffic you ever been in?
Probably Like, you mean in like within the city limits type of thing, or like outside of Illinois in general?
No, I'm talking about like
Just
in
anywhere.
your travels, like.
That's a good question, man. Like,
Because I do believe Chicago is like probably front runner for me in terms of because I've been in traffic, like we've been in traffic overseas.
dude,
And
that traffic is fucking scary. It's not even like bad, like where you're unable to move, but that
You
traffic
better
is
be. You
terrifying.
better know the movement you want to make.
It's almost as though they don't have any lanes, and people just kind of get in where they fit in, and it turns into like 7 lanes across.
It feels like intentional reckless driving.
And they are. There's no traffic cops. Like they have like towers, and they had when I went last. That was 06, right? So they had like traffic towers where maybe they like monitored things, I guess, but there was no like traffic police. You don't have squad cars driving through.
That's crazy.
So people just did what they did. You know, I was like, this is terrifying.
So that's terrifying.
And I was like freshly 16, just got my license there when I was there, right? The last time. And so I'm like watching this happen, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I ain't learned how to drive here. Like one of the uncles asked me, he knew that I just got my license. He's like, oh, you want to drive back to the house? I'm like, no, I don't.
Not
want
at
anything to
all,
do with
dude.
this. Now, as at 31, if I went back and they asked me the same
You'd
thing,
drive.
I still wouldn't do it.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No,
I would drive.
y'all are crazy,
So-
man.
So in Puerto Rico, for instance, when we were going to Vivi's pops,
Yeah.
he lives at the top of this mountain, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this before. But in terms of like, kind of like a fearful drive, not that there was like fear, but like it's one of those mountains where there's only enough space for it seems only one car,
Yeah.
right? Somehow two get past, but it's not that the road is this way, right? Then you can deal with that.
Yeah.
It's the fact that everybody drives like the road isn't that way.
People, the locals.
Like, dude, they be just driving like they got 2 lanes, and I'd be like, all right, so where are you going? This guy's like, we're on the fucking like the grass. This guy's like halfway hanging his ass off the fucking mountain with the, and I'm like, okay, how is this big box truck here in front of us? We had to drive behind him, and I was like, who the fuck is fitting? There's cars flying right past them. I'm like, all right, this is a tad bit ridiculous. Do I want to take that drive myself? I wish I could, but the thing is, I don't know. Those roads didn't make any sense.
So did you guys?
It felt like I was saying it yesterday. It felt like one of those places. Remember those old animated things back in the day with all the stairs, and if you walk through a pair of stairs, you open a door, you come out another set of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that mountain felt. I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you guys rent a car, or were you like in Ubers and shit?
So the first trip we rented a car, and so we ended up meeting up with her cousin. He hopped out of his car, jumped in ours. I was riding shotgun, which is hilarious because I'm like, but like I was fine because I think anybody else was probably like the other guy with us would probably been cool too, but like the girls are like overreactive.
I'm always conflicted when it comes to renting cars on vacation, man, because I'm like, yeah, it's nice to be able to kind of be on my own time.
And right now, renting a car on vacation is
cheap.
No, it's fucked up, like really expensive.
Really? I would think it'd be the opposite.
Dude, so when we were on this trip, our first tenants, they were actually there coincidentally, like one of Vivi's good friends, and her boyfriend, which is he's a really cool dude. You've met him before.
Yeah.
He's actually the guy that helped us procure those. Yes, exactly. I spoke to him about that as well, so we should be talking about that.
Word. Keep an eye out, people.
Yeah. What up? What up, Detroit? No, he didn't.
Well, what? You didn't do it again.
Yes. Anyway, so he was saying that the first time they came there in October, they rented a Jeep, and I guess for the week, he said it was a decent price. I don't know, maybe $500 or $400, something in a realm of that's decent.
Yeah.
He said this time they wanted $2,500 for that same thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
For a week.
So flights are cheap, but the accommodations after flights are more
No,
expensive?
the problem with renting cars right now is that all car rental places during COVID, to relieve themselves of some sort of
they got to have
debt,
everything like super
they sold off a lot of their cars.
So
and
they're limited.
Now they're limited in cars because there's not a lot of cars that they have in stock to rent.
Supply and demand is a bitch, I tell you.
Dude, you know what lumber prices are? Like lumber prices are like
Oh,
2 or
yeah.
3 times like what they supposed to
Yeah, a
be
lot of things are getting
because
like,
the supply chain is all
think
corrupt,
steel is
all
like that,
fucked
too.
up. Everything's all fucked up.
feels like that. The oil's backed up
Though
because the
it's
I don't know
that's
how do
not
hackers
the case with sneakers and cards. They're
No.
just a lot of bullshit.
how do hackers put a halt to a pipeline? Because it's all computerized, I guess, right?
I don't know, dude. And
like y'all don't have
I'm
like
sure
a
that-
fallback safety system.
I'm
I know this
100%
existed.
certain these hackers have probably so much money in their bank.
But listen, this pipeline, like the oil industry, it all existed before technology existed. So didn't you guys have like a
Yeah, but they've updated so much.
That's fine, but you don't
Dude,
have
you saw
like,
that
a fucking
fucking
contingency
Dumb
plan.
captain fucking basically created a dam and like there was no way to get and it was like a major
Yeah,
like, canal.
but that's not the same thing, man. Like y'all don't got a contingency plan. This is one of the biggest like pieces of the economy that we
Maybe
have.
these guys are smarter than them.
Maybe these guys are just all a bunch of dum-dums.
I'm just saying it seems as though those guys probably are very rich. They're probably like, I need $12 million. Doot, 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 doot. I have $12 million.
Yeah, it'd be nice to
I'd be like, I need $12 million. And you know what I get? I get a bill for $12 million.
like, damn, how am I gonna pay this?
Like, I don't even know why I owe this. Where did this come from?
That one fucking meme that they have where there's that guy sitting in the middle of the fire. He's like, this is all right. Everything
I could deal with this. I could deal with this.
He can't. It's very negative energy.
Like,
looming.
where did this bill come from? It's at this point, just pay it. I don't know why, but just pay it.
Yeah. Pay your bills, people. It makes life easier.
No, of course, pay your bills. Like, why wouldn't you? You have to pay your bills, otherwise you get kicked out of your place. You get no, you get no vagina.
Mm.
Vagine.
Yeah, I mean, you can fake it till you make it, but there's only so much you can do, you know?
This gonna be giving me all the girls.
That's a great movie, too. So we clearly are on a Chicago repping thing right now. Full disclosure, I
Always.
chose this, after he got here.
Yes, I
But-
didn't
But it's always
shame
Chicago,
him into it.
Always
But yeah,
type of
he's-
thing,
I will say he's lucky. He was one of the lucky ones to have bought a Derrick Rose jersey back then.
Not really, because if I would have bought this shit after he left, he, was at Lid's locker room and shit.
I
Like
would-
that. They'd mark this shit down like 50%.
I'd like to have every jersey he had, but I would. Well, okay, so he's been on New York twice now.
I would want every one of them besides the one that he was on the Cavs with.
I've never heard anybody say they want to go on vacation to Cleveland.
Word to Joe, man. Word to Joe.
Joe. Oh, speaking of basketball, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and the late Kobe Bryant, the
Yes.
late great Kobe Bryant, were inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame yesterday.
Yes,
Or
congratulations.
2 days
to
ago,
those
right?
Gentlemen.
2 days ago, I believe.
Yes. If we had a round of applause, soundboard.
Adam
insert here,
is sleeping on going to get that. He sucks and he is fat.
Hey, listen, man. Everything that we use, I get. So sometimes I just didn't get it yet. The only thing that I didn't procure was this item, which Sarah provided for us, and that light, which
We
really-
also, I don't know what I had nothing to say. No, I got that light.
Yeah.
Got that.
Well, technically, Vivi got that light.
You got though? If not, our best friends got though. And if
I
not,
was gonna watch that.
they
other
best
day.
friends got though.
I was gonna watch that the other day.
We
too.
should
I was like,
Patreon that. Watching us, having us watch that.
Yeah, if y'all haven't watched How High, and listen, I don't want to keep talking about Patreon because clearly we haven't got enough recorded to start it yet.
Well, after this week, we definitely should have enough.
Listen, we're not gonna say another word.
I don't intend
about
on taking-
Patreon.
I don't
until-
intend on taking vacation again
That's fine,
until
I'm just saying, that's
unless
great, that's
Dogecoin
great.
goes to the fucking moon.
To the
In which
moon.
case, it's a permanent
That's
vacation.
fine.
to
My
Puerto
only point
Rico.
here is I don't want to say anything else
I'm
about Patreon until we have a Patreon launched. Once it's launched, we will let y'all know. But until then, I'm gonna stop giving y'all promises because
Did you say lunch?
I don't want to wait for my lunch to be colder.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
Well, some lunch
yeah,
is supposed to be cold.
to get colder.
What if you have an ice cream with your lunch? It's a fat thing to do, but hey.
Well, if
Who am I to
complaining about
judge?
your lunch getting colder, clearly it didn't start that way.
You know, some of the funniest things on the planet are like, so I used to work downtown and watch these business types, you
Yeah.
know, these executives, if you will.
Suits.
These suits walking out of McDonald's and they all got like an ice cream cone and they're sitting there licking it like they're just in there. You know, like if
Rocking $100,000 suit,
Right.
getting cream on their shirt.
like this motherfucker probably got like 6 figures in the bank, but he eats ice cream at 11:45 in the morning.
Like, man, it's been a long evening. You gotta
Like,
lick this
I'm
cone
sorry,
to-
you're rich.
gotta lick this cone to make my mood. You know.
Yo, I hope Dogecoin goes to the. Yo, I don't give a fuck what Elon Musk is doing.
Go buy Dogecoin.
I don't give
people.
a fuck that y'all think he's tamper these. Oh, you listen.
This is not financial
I
advice.
need-
We are not financial
I don't know
advisors.
who you should invest in or what you care. Listen, I just need.
I got
him
a couple
to keep,
things that I'm invested in
I'm-
that if you wanted to jump in, it might help.
I need him to keep going so I can have that motherfucker give me some money from Doge because it stopped at like 50 cents, which is cool, but I'm waiting for it to be like a lot.
Like $50.
I'm looking even further than that.
Oh, that'd be great. But you gotta crawl for you walk.
Well, I think we've already crawled at this point. We got
Thankfully,
like, I think we're on like one leg and one knee. We're like on the proposing pose.
We gotta take your sneaker off first so it doesn't crease.
I don't.
I laugh at those videos.
Would you do
man.
that? Would you take off your fucking shoe before you proposed?
I'm not putting on nice shoes to propose. I ain't proposing to nobody.
No, I'm saying like, would you do that? Like, would you be that guy that they snapped a picture of where you've taken your shoe off so you can propose, or are you gonna like crease your shoes? Because okay, one, what's a proposal shoe?
I don't think there's a proposal shoe. I think you should be happy with the proposal I
Let's
gave you.
okay,
Damn.
what about the? Should you happy with the tip I gave you? Okay, I can tell you what's not a proposal shoe. As many times as I see it, it's not the 11.
It's not the 11.
You're spending too much time.
I do. I mean,
in
the
that-
Space Jam with the patent leather. I mean, all that's really nice. But yeah, 9.
It's not a shoe that you sit there and just perform a 90-degree angle on your the the ball of your feet.
I'm putting on something comfortable that I can run in. Because like, what if I do that in front of people and then she's like, nah, I ain't really
Dude,
feeling
I
it."
would run so fast.
I'm put on my Nikes,
I would be
bro.
like the bitches in Maury for sure, but but like with reason to run, like not because I was like kind of whorish and didn't know who had sex with me.
Right.
Right.
Definitely not.
I'm not talking about the girls who knew and the guys who were guilty of being fathers, right? Like,
Right. Not the
what a
ones
way
that-
to say it. Guilty of being father. You're guilty. I didn't
Like,
mean to.
The child is yours.
Shit. No,
I loved her for.
dude.
It's funny the different reactions because when they say that the child is yours, all of a sudden he's in love with her again. Baby, I'm gonna take care of the kid. He's my.
Of course, I'm gonna be there for him. Or that's my kid.
Like, why am I even on this
Motherfucker, that
episode?
kid is 4.5 and she ain't even met you yet. Like, what the fuck is you talking
I've
about?
been busy. I got a couple business I'm trying to start.
I got a t-shirt brand. I got a sock brand.
got a girlfriend, man. I got a wife on the side, man.
So no, I would like. What would you do if a girl said no to you when you proposed? Would you run like? And okay, if you ran, how would you run? Would
Well,
you?
first of all, let me just say.
Don't look at me.
Let me just say. All right, couple things. Number one,
I don't want to hear that part.
Well,
I'm
number
asking
one,
you
I'm never
hypo-
proposing.
I need
to
a
anybody.
hypothetical here.
But number two,
We're talking
yeah,
about
I'm gonna
put
give you right
yourself.
now.
Okay.
I'm
Let me
gonna
paint
give
the
it to you
scene.
right now.
Let me paint the scene.
No.
I want to paint the scene.
I'm gonna let you know what the scene is not gonna be.
Okay. Adam is in
I-
front of the Buckingham Fountain
No.
in front of Chicago
No.
on the lakefront.
No,
right?
if I was to ever propose to anybody, I am
he's
not
already
in public.
debating whether or not he should propose. He's like,
It's probably gonna be
I don't
like
know.
post sex.
Listen, okay, yeah, no.
Damn, bitch, you want to get married?
Those are probably the most genuine. Listen, so Adam is in front of this fountain, right? He's got the ring in his pocket, right?
I don't.
As he's looking to,
Throw that
like,
shit
as
in and
he's
make a
about to
wish.
pull it out, as he's about to pull out the ring, right? He
that's-
trips, he falls. Okay, right? The ring then falls into the fountain. Okay. Adam has to now announce that he was about to propose by saying, "Bitch, the ring is in the fountain."
Hey, get in there and look for it, and it's yours.
if you do in fact want to get married, I suggest you get in this fucking fountain with me and find it. And that's how you know if it's real. If she's like, "No, I don't really want to," that's when do you run away or do you get the ring?
I push her in the fountain.
Get the motherfucking ring now. Well, so what would you do if she just walks away? Now you got like a $1,500, $2,000 ring.
All right, listen, man. You have to take my main point into consideration here. I am not proposing in public. I'm not gonna do it in
Oh
public.
yeah, so like all these people that do like big ass, I think
Like I wouldn't do a baby reveal in public.
I don't care for gender reveals at
No,
all.
man.
Women do.
Listen,
I don't think
nobody else cares.
I guarantee you do a poll of all the men who have ever had a child in this gender reveal era, right? Of when they say, hey, this is where we having to this time, right? I think you poll all of these men, and any of them who are giving a genuine answer are going to say, I don't even know what we're doing that day until we do it.
I think the only people who care about children are the people who have children. And you can care about other people's children when you have a child. Let me just tell y'all, when you do like gender reveals and blah, 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 the people who are closest to you might have some genuine care for you. I don't care about that. Who cares what the gender of your child is? Good job, you fucked, and you were successful. Congratulations. I don't really see a reason to be
I'm
so
not
happy about
I'm
that
not.
for
I'm
you.
not like
You're doing what was meant.
like imagine those like
You
and
have
then
a
the
penis,
ones
she has a vagina. Things kind of like that's how they go.
I've seen some funny gender reveal videos though, like where they were supposed to like poke a balloon, right? And the balloon was so strong that like it kind of like dislodged from where it was like anchored into, and it flew away before they were able to reveal the gender. It's pretty funny. Oh, and then in trying to retrieve it again, the dude tried to like jump off this gate, and instead of jumping off the gate, fell backwards off of the gate, and it just kept flying away. I've seen ones where the guy couldn't hit the ball, like at all, and at one point he pitched to himself, and he still couldn't hit it. Like they just,
It's embarrassing.
I don't even know if they're even together at this point.
She was like, after that display, man, nah.
Dude, I thought you could play sports.
Like I could hit this ball better than you, and that's a problem.
what would be the coolest way to reveal your, like if you're gonna do it, like a skeet shooting, so you can like say
I thought about that, and then I was like, skeet, and then I just moved on from that idea.
he makes love to his wife, gets up and skates, skate.
I swear to God, I thought about that skeet shooting like as you were talking, but I was like, nah.
skate.
I would get on camera and just be like, all right, I made a mistake. The pullout game was a little bit weaker than I expected it to be.
Okay. I'm thinking
Turns
about
out
cool.
the doctor said that
What
I'm
if-
gonna have a boy.
What if you do like
At least not a.
I'm thinking about cool ways, not like asshole
There's
ways.
no
to
cool
reveal.
way to do it. You always look like an asshole when you do a gender reveal.
Well, I'm saying like, what's like a cool, intense move? Like if you like skydived and like you tried to hit the target while you landed.
I would do something involving my dog, probably.
Yeah,
Got to get the dog involved.
dogs are. So like, would you have, like, man, honestly, like,
I have a frisbee made like I don't know, some weird
I
blue
think-
powder, and he can just catch it.
I think maybe the coolest thing on the planet might be, or the funniest thing, because it's just funny to watch their dynamic, is if you had a newborn to buy a kitten and a puppy at the same time.
I would put together
Your house would be trashed and it would smell like complete ass.
Yeah, for sure.
But it would probably like be the funniest 3 years of your life.
I would put together like a national treasure
The cat
map.
just sitting there boxing the dog. Cat's boxing first and foremost. It's crazy in itself, but
I'd give you like a weird step by step. Like first things first, get in touch with Nicolas Cage. Number 2, you got to find a national treasure map. Number 3, you got to go to this part of the earth and dig up a.
I never watched those movies.
I would make it some weird ass shit. Like I would go and fly like 8,000 miles away and bury it like underneath a rock
For the gender reveal,
next to a tree. Yeah.
if you don't find it, there's no gender. Like what? Ah!
You'll find the woman who I have impregnated there. And if she's not there anymore,
I don't know.
She might have just left. It's been months.
Yo, speaking of cats, did you see the cat that jumped from that fire this week and jumped from like the 5th floor and just landed and kind of bounced and just walked away?
Cats are G's, man. I mean,
Cats are fucking terrifying.
I would never. I don't want a cat. Like I've dealt
Household-
with a numerous amount of them, and
I think that if you can find one that behaves like the cat that our ex-landlord had, actually, that cat was dope. His name
I
was
feel
like,
like X has a negative connotation. Former, previous. You know,
I mean,
that one guy who we rented a place from that time.
that time before. Hey, yo, you.
But yeah, no, his cat was cool, but like
Hey, yo, you who just flipped on this CD player.
this is like that cat was like he had everything he needed, and he lived the life that he wanted. The only thing was missing was just a little bit more love, right?
So
like,
he would come upstairs.
like, all right, I lived in the room. I slept in the room that was like street facing, right? So I would have my window cracked, and you'd hear this cat out there just scrapping. Like whatever wildlife was out there, he was tearing their ass up. Every time I saw this cat, he was a little bit fatter, right? was like, this motherfucker's eating good out here. So,
He's a fat fucking
but
cat.
every time you went out there, like, I'm a cigarette smoker.
He's a
I don't say
Heathcliff
that with pride,
motherfucker.
but it is what it is. So I used to go out there on the porch and smoke a cigarette.
He still goes out into
And
the
the dog-
garage and smokes cigarettes.
We'll go to various places. But anyway, the point is, the cat would come up there, like, whether a cat was on the side of the house or whatever, he heard the door open, and he would just come up to the stairs and, like, rub his head against your leg and just kind of hang out with you.
Yeah,
there, you know?
yeah. He was like a really, like, he behaved like a dog would behave as a cat.
But my allergies act up bad with their dander and shit. So, like, outside it was cool. Like
Inside it wasn't a good thing.
Nah.
No, and
Plus, we had a dog that wasn't going to take kindly to cats in his house.
Yeah, oh yeah, Stacks. Although I think at some point, I think Stacks would cohabitate with a cat, any kind of animal, pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, pretty much, I guess. I don't know.
As long as they were like as laid back as he was. You know?
So our parents are going on vacation at the end of this month, so another 2 weeks, whatever. They have 2 dogs, and obviously I have a dog, so they're gonna be their 2 dogs are gonna be here for the. I guess our little brother will be back after 2 weeks, so 2 weeks they'll be here. And mind you, they lived together for like 2 years, something like that.
I think towards the latter part of that year, they were getting along pretty well.
So yesterday, little brother brought him over, and I was like, all right, cool. It's gonna be like a nice little reintroduction. Like they haven't seen each other in almost like the better part of a year. It'd be like reunited and it feels so good. And it was a very underwhelming response, right? So like number one, they weren't like as excited to see each other as I thought they would be. They didn't hate each other. They weren't barking at each other, growling, anything like that. It was all love. But my dog he's like a little creep, right? So like they're both of the parents' dogs are very small. Like one's like a Pomeranian mix, the other one's I don't know, some other thing.
Another concoction that
Another
they created.
small animal.
You know, it'd be cute: a German Shepherd and a poodle. No, it wouldn't. It would be fucking terrifying for the dog. Why would you do that to a dog that instinctually?
But full-bred poodles are good enough size to actually pair up with something like that.
Yeah, but a fucking German Shepherd is instinctually like alpha. Yeah. But you put it in a body of like a fucking apple, and like, what do you think it's supposed to? It's confused and terrified at the same time.
That's exactly I feel like how those dogs felt, right? So they were here, and one of them is 9, the other one is like 6, I think. And the one that's 9 is more or less my sister's dog, our sister's dog. So I begin in the habit of saying my, and I'm very possessive. So they would not come by either of us, and they pretty much stayed by my little brother. And they, like my dog kept pretty much putting his head up their asses, trying to just sniff all up in their glory spots and whatnot.
They have their dogs that are in their comfort zone most of the time, so they don't really visit other people's homes. And
yeah. And I mean, I don't know what it was, but I'm like, y'all know us, and they just act brand new there. So I guess we got a little bit more.
Yeah, you have to do that more and more frequently than once every so often for them to be comfortable when you watch them, because dogs, they react to their environment.
And so, I mean, it's an interesting experiment because we're like looking at getting an additional dog here, right? Because so my dog is 3.5, going be 4 soon, whatever. And pretty much all of his life he's lived with another dog, but we're just trying to make sure that the situation is like something he's gonna be comfortable with too.
Yeah, you don't want to like ruffle the feathers of his life, because
this is his home now.
He will retaliate because dogs can do that.
So we're looking at maybe like a female bulldog now.
Ooh.
And I was like, well, he's fixed, but I mean, like, I don't, whatever. So.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like definitely try that out first.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I got there somehow from cats and dogs cohabitating.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, at that note, I think we should be taking our break.
I mean, it's still a little bit early for a break. Let me just
50. We try to get to like what, the 50 mark?
Yeah, something like that. Well, all right. Before we do this, because we did mention the clothing being all bulls and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
having the sneakers in here. How long is it until a jersey is considered a throwback? Is it decades or something? Because this has been probably like 9 years since he was a bull.
I can say it's a throwback, but it's not like the definition of a throwback was when they first came out was just like it was a retro jersey that was no longer being used. For instance, like when I was in high school, they had the swingman jerseys,
right?
which were
And I think this is Swingman.
yeah. I do believe Swingman was Nike. The Nike they were Nike Swingman, but anyway,
The Swingman right here.
well, I guess maybe that's
Swingman.
I don't know what the Swingman relates to. Anyway, so when they did that, they would create like retro. So
Yeah.
I bought like and again, it wasn't necessarily a player who wasn't playing anymore, but like more or less
Their jersey
the jersey.
is no longer used.
But then they had like the Alex English, the Nuggets one, which is really well known because it's like the colors were all crazy on that Nuggets jersey, and it was very like flamboyant, but very just cool. And this was the time where you're wearing 3X fucking jerseys and big ass fucking pants to match.
Well, what was that Fabulous line, right? He's like, your car is over
Throwback
10 years
this.
old, homie. You riding in the throwback.
That's oh shit. This number's been calling me a lot, but I refuse to fucking answer because they
Scam
won't leave a
artists.
message. They won't leave a message. It's not that important.
No.
But I would
Sunday
say
and
it's
shit.
probably gonna be a true throwback from that time. I would
Right.
believe is probably a player who's no longer playing with a jersey that's pretty cool and highly relished. But is it relished? Relished is also
Something
a
like
hot
that,
dog.
yeah. I mean,
Anyway, but and no longer is being used, right? So the Alex English was a jersey. They had like I think you can even go like the old Grant Hill jersey.
so would you say like the prior generation?
like a pit? Okay, so
So
like
if I bought a Kevin Garnett version of this,
I don't know if-
would that be because he's now retired and now obviously that jersey's no longer in use. The number's retired. Would that?
I
be
think if you
considered
had a
throwback?
Minnesota Timberwolves first go round KG like. And maybe that's like but I guess throwbacks were also being re-released, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a jersey from back then. Maybe it's just a vintage jersey at that point, right? So like this shirt, for instance, vintage, right?
So is throwback defined by just what the streets would call it, or is it like an actual
No, I think-
entity of things?
So throwbacks were such a thing back then because they were being re-released by whatever Mitchell and Ness and all of that.
yeah,
I think if you were to buy, let's say, old Jordan jersey, right? Like they had the 50th anniversary with the gold NBA logo, which
Yeah.
is the one I would like to get. There's also another one that they had from like '92, I believe, or something. When a player died, they had the black strip along the jersey. They also sell those.
yeah.
I don't know, like if we go on like Mitchell and Ness or Fanatics or whatever, I think you can actually purchase those. Would I say that's a
So they
throwback?
have like a column of throwbacks.
I'd say that's a throwback. Mitchell and Ness is where you really buy your throwbacks from because they kind of like have the more authentic
Yeah.
jerseys and whatnot.
Well, because I mean, this is authentic. I just didn't know like what do you consider?
I think
a
that's just
throwback
more
and
of a
is it-
vintage. I don't think that's throwback. I think it is throwback, but it's not
It's
a
not
throwback
considered
jersey.
throwback because he's still an active
You
player.
bought it back
and-
then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like
I threw money at it back then.
right. If you were to like, if they were to re-release that,
yeah,
right, be like an original Derrick Rose
and that would just be like a
from his
homage
from his
to
MVP year.
right.
That's probably a throwback jersey that they're going to re-release.
It's the anniversary
limited,
edition,
which is something that they should do. Wink, wink.
All right. Well, we can go on a break, but before we do, I want to introduce this topic and I want to talk about it when we come back. We were talking about Kevin Garnett. So the other day, I was watching NBA TV and they have like those throwback games. It was 2004 Game 7, Minnesota versus Sacramento. Round 2, Game 7. But just like those two teams. Like
2004
2004.
was it like Doug Christie, Mike Bibby,
Mike Bibby. Then you had
C. Webb,
Latrell
Vlade Divac.
Sprewell was on. Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we'll go on break, man. We'll be right back.
All right.
Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Turn me up in the headphones.
Real quick,
Actually, I would only be talking to myself if I said that.
because you turn your own self up in your own headphones.
Turn up my own headphones.
Yes, I heard about that.
We back.
We are.
We back. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not. Maybe I'm just more interested in talking about these two teams and their battle. But I feel like so
Underrated era.
to refresh people's. Oh, you don't need a refresher. You just came back from. We didn't. So basically, yeah, I don't know. I think the Timberwolves and the Kings at that point. That was their last big
So,
era, right?
04?
04.
I believe the Pistons won. I think the
Ben
Pistons
Wallace
won.
led Pistons.
Yeah, I think they back to back. Or was
Sounds
it?
about right.
Yeah, I think they back to back. And then I think
Then the Lakers.
Lakers, then Spurs went on a little tear too.
There was a lot of like. That was kind of interesting thing about that era. There was a few teams who had dynasties at that time. You know, like it was kind of a toss up as to who was going to be the. Like you had the Lakers, you had the Spurs, you had the Celtics, you had obviously the Timberwolves. Few big teams in the hunt, and then of course Detroit.
Excuse me as I eat chocolate bars.
Candy bars.
I think the Pistons won too. The Spurs, everything for me is BB before Bulls, or I'm sorry, AB after Bulls, right? Because that time was almost a given.
Right.
I think the Spurs won the next year. I believe. Then you had the Pistons win. We gotta look it up. We
We should probably look it up.
Because I used to know this, but time has passed.
Yeah, it sure has.
So
17 fucking years ago, man.
yeah, for sure. And
Jesus Christ.
when you look at that, time flies. You're like, God damn, that feels like it was like fucking 5 days ago. It was like 6 years ago. You're like,
I graduated grammar school in 2004.
How does that feel?
Yeah. It feels like I'm pretty far removed from grammar school. I won't lie. Feels like that's about right.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so from 1999. Okay, so actually, Spurs. Wait, the hell? That was this. Okay. Here we are.
The Spurs were
Spurs,
1999.
Lakers. That's right. They three-peated.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot they started three-peating in the 2000s.
Well, they three-peated and then they only
99, 2000, 2001. I mean, I'm sorry, 2000, 2001, and 2002.
Yeah.
Then the Spurs. Holy shit, when did the... Wait, okay. Here we are. I see it. All right, so the Spurs won in 2003, right? I do remember that. So they didn't do any consecutive at that point.
Yeah.
The Pistons only won... I thought the Pistons won twice. I really thought that the Pistons won 2 championships. This has got to be wrong. I'm not looking. This has got to be wrong.
Well, what is the source?
Here we are. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is a better way to look at it. I think. No, it's not. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm fucking up. But regardless of... Oh, here we are. NBA Finals winners.
Are we sure now?
Yes, I believe we are. If I could just... this is a terrible fucking map. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Pistons won twice. Here we are. Spurs, Lakers, Spurs. So I guess the Pistons only won once. Go fucking figure.
So they won 04?
Yeah, they won 04. I was right, but I fucking thought that they won twice.
I mean, apparently not, you know?
All right. So that's cool.
Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton boys, you know?
Yeah.
It was a good team. It was a good Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, so speaking of basketball and things we listen, I promise we know these things. It's just as time goes on, you kind of like the story.
We used to be able to keep track by which NBA Live was coming out.
That too. Anyway, your thoughts on J. Cole joining the Rwandan?
Yes.
I forget the name of the team.
I forgot what it was too, but I saw it just a little bit earlier.
What are your thoughts?
A 35, 36-year-old J. Cole. He had some college glory days.
He's that old?
Yeah. He's your age.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, 1985 I arrived, you remember?
Right.
So wait. So now
what are your thoughts? What?
I think it's a little interesting that it's like a 16-year period between when he was balling in college to now, and now he's playing on what they call the professional level.
Let me ask this first.
To me, I
what
always
do you
say
think of
professional when
what
in
do
the
you
eyes
think,
of any other team that's not in the NBA. You know?
Let me ask this first question.
Okay.
What do you think of people who play or do other things professionally, branching off, trying to play another professional sport, right? So in his instance, he's a rap artist.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of people who would, like, let's say, rappers try to be athletes, athletes try to be rappers? It's kind of synonymous. It's been said that plenty of times.
Yeah.
What do you think of, like?
There's a difference though, because if you start out as an athlete and you want to rap, like there's not really a ceiling on when you can jump into that. But
First of all, I'd like to go out there and say that most of you rappers can't hoop.
most of you rappers probably no. I mean, first of all, you see celebrity games like you got Quavo up there, and you got y'all can't really hoop.
Chains can hoop.
Chains
Davies can hoop.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like there's certain artists who they could have probably been successful one way or the other, right? You got like Game is 6'5". Like when you got height
Game
to go along with
Game
it.
Game can kind of hoop. I will say that, but they're bigger.
Yeah,
but for the most part, most of these artists can't really hoop. You see them in the celebrity games, you'll be like, "Ooh, you are pretty bad."
No. There's a reason why you're only in a celebrity game. A lot of y'all ask, but that's me talking from. I'm far removed from the days that I would consider my glory as well. So I haven't hooped in a minute.
So before we came back from our break, I saw that they posted J. Cole's stat line. Hold on, let me see if I can find it again.
I watched a highlight with him dunking. All right, there you go, J. Cole.
He can dunk. He's like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. But I'll say this: chase your dreams. I'm not one to tell you what not to do and what not.
Hey, if you can be successful in both ventures, by all means, why wouldn't you do it? You should.
And this is more or less a way to kind of like, scratch that itch for a dream, because he's not going to make it to the NBA. It's just not going to happen.
Right, but now you're still in a position where you're playing professional sports, so you're still getting a paycheck from that.
Yeah, and
I'm sure the kind of guy that J. Cole is.
It's a sign.
Oh, I got both of them shits.
Your shattered backboards are for $500 right now.
500?
Yeah. But listen, follow your dreams, please. By all means, do your things. But he's not going to make it to the NBA. So this is a way for. I always say that me and you were just like 3 or 4 inches off from probably never trying to stop playing basketball in our lives. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd still be out there trying to get in a European league right now.
I'd be trying to play. I'd be in Europe. I'd be in some sort of like F-stan or something like that. In the middle of the Middle East, fucking playing fucking basketball right now.
I told you last time when I was in Europe last.
Oh, okay.
I met some dudes from Indiana who were playing professionally over there. So
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So here's his stat line. He played for 17 minutes, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 for 3 from the field.
And this is his
and
first
it's
game?
the Rwandan Patriots.
I mean, I don't know anything about their team, so I don't really want to like speculate too much, and even like the competition level there.
Do you think
there's surely some jitters that probably affected that a little bit?
Part of the reason I asked, what do you think about these people who are these artists who try to do other things? Is it a bit of privilege for him to be able to even have the ability to try out for this team?
Yes,
at his age.
Yes and no.
With nobody, because his exposure is what really is a thing, and what your greatest asset could be when you have this platform is exposure.
Mm-hmm.
We become well-known podcasters. We get into like some sort of podcast league,
right?
Somehow, some way, we're like
getting nominated for awards and shit.
And I come out, I'm like, yo, I really want to try out to play for a team overseas, whatever team, fill in the blank, X team. I don't get that opportunity as podcasters as we are now. With our 140 subscribers strong, nobody gives a fuck that I want to try out.
It's hard to speak to that.
If they know I hoop and they know who I am because we have 1 million subscribers, I may have a better opportunity at like, hey, give me a shot. I might be able to help your team.
It's hard to speak to that because living in the U.S., I know what possible channels you have to take to get to the NBA. I don't know what the general route is to make a professional league in other countries. It could be as simple as, hey, man, we're not a super popular, but we have this is our professional league. We have maybe they have walk-ons. Maybe if you can hoop and you're interested in hooping.
I don't think they have walk-ons.
No, I mean, I'm for sure. I think surely it depends on the market.
I think it depends on the marquee.
Yes and no. Surely it's going to draw some names to watch when you have J. Cole, on as one of the star players on
You're
your
looking
team.
for money. You're looking for ad dollars. With J. Cole on your team, there's more enticement, is that a word? You can entice advertisers or companies to advertise with your team and give you ad or sponsorship dollars based on the fact that you have a J. Cole who is a marketable, well-known worldwide pop star.
But it's not. It's pretty common knowledge, at least. It's not disputed as far as I know that J. Cole was a hooper, right? And he could play.
Of course not.
Also, J. Cole is a very philanthropic guy, so I mean, I'm sure he does a lot of work in Rwanda too. He's not just trying to profit off them.
Only with money can you be as philanthropic as he may be.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you can't help the poor if you're one of them.
I mean, you can, but they're not gonna know who the fuck you are if you donate $12.
Well,
You donate 6 figures.
Yeah,
time,
and it depends on the organization too, because
your stardom brings attention and money and people. I get it. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just asking the question: is it entitlement or a sense of entitlement to be able to do that?
I mean, it is for sure. It's definitely
and there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, the only reason why I'll say it is because yes, the money does give you I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to fly to Rwanda tomorrow and try out for the team. Even if that was how they do it, I don't have the money to just go randomly make trips like that.
Where the fuck
maybe
is
I need
Rwanda?
Maybe I need to take 2 months off and join their training camp and shit. Like I can't do that, So there's privilege in it. Money, but we know that already. Money opens doors.
They discussed this when Michael went and played for the Sox.
Yeah, but he went and joined the minor league team and
he played the minor leagues. Yeah.
And he also played a lot of baseball. He's just not as shining star as he was as a basketball player. I mean,
yeah, but he wasn't a prospect.
No.
By that time, Michael this was 93, 94. He was probably, I think he played 3 years in college. So Michael was probably 31, 32 years old, 33.
But see, the Sox is always a team that I look at as you might as well be a fucking walk-on team. Nobody cares about the Sox.
That's not true.
It is. It's true. Listen.
Also, you got to remember, Jerry Reinsdorf owned the Bulls and owned the Sox.
Doesn't he still?
Yeah, I'm saying, but at that time also, and that meant that Jordan, who said he wanted to go play baseball, was now in line with somebody who owned both clubs.
Yes, for sure.
And Jerry Reinsdorf, not being a fucking idiot, understood that Michael Jordan playing for his team can only bring fucking fans to the seats.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying, there is something to your stardom, people knowing who you are.
But see, that again speaks to who the Sox were at the time. Like, all right, just to give you some frame of reference, if you're not from here, you don't know the story very much. Reinsdorf once said that he would trade every Bulls title to get one Sox championship.
Right.
Now,
if you don't know, the Bulls have 6 championships, and they got them all within an 8-year span in the 1990s.
And there's never been a more lucrative franchise.
There's never been a fucking more literal powerhouse that was a for sure almost win almost every year because of the fact that Michael Jordan, we're not going to get into
right. The White Sox, growing up in Chicago, the White Sox was just the less important baseball team to a lot of people. Like,
remember, you grew up on the north side.
Doesn't matter. I've been to a lot of Sox games, and you can see how the fandom is. Like, if you go to Wrigley, even in the peak of the Cubs sucking balls, and yes, it's not all due to the Cubs being like this big glorious team, but they do have a lot of history, and people. Obviously, there's lots to do around Wrigley, but
they call it. I mean, it's because Wrigley. They say, and maybe it's not really helping my argument, but they say people go to Wrigley because it's more of a party. You go to the Sox fan. They say it's more fans at the Sox Stadium or Comiskey or U.S. Cellular or whatever the fuck they call it right now.
But in an arena that fits probably 18 to 25,000 people,
easily.
You have maybe 10,000 people there.
And you're right, but I think it's because.
So the idea, what I'm saying is like if Reinsdorf was like, yeah. Let Jordan come and play even for our minor league team. You're trying to do what you can as the owner to bring people to the seats, and the Sox were just in a position. They're still to this day. Like last time I was in a Sox game was maybe like 2 years ago. Same thing. Like people don't come and fill out those stands. We used to do essays in school, and they'd be like, "Oh, do this essay and
Free
you get
tickets.
free ticket." We never paid to even go to a Sox game. They just want you to be there.
I'm not gonna. Listen,
So-
I'm not gonna. There are obviously Sox fans. There are people, and I don't like your team is your team. Fuck it, I don't really care. I'm not like an anti-Sox guy as much as I'm more of pro Cubs.
Well, no, and I'm not even like. Listen, I'm generally speaking anti-baseball. I don't really. It's boring to me. Whatever. But even
Baseball is fun to play.
even that,
and it's one of those sports that I maintain that it probably was gonna be. If I played it, I probably could have mastered it. I don't give a fuck. Also, like if I was a rapper, I'd be the best basketball rapper, rapper, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Sure, Victor Oladipo.
If I was a rapper, I'd be the best rapper. If I was a singer, I'd be the best fucking vocalist you ever heard in your life.
Which let me just tell you,
I'm a bad man.
My punchline at the end of the last podcast rap when I'm talking about you, Jeremy Lin. Let me just. I know he's been a punchline. In a lot of raps,
I'm
but
just
I did
gonna
a great
say
job.
Jeremy Lin he's not in the league anymore, but he played.
He's still in the
fucking
league.
I don't think he got picked up.
No, he's still. In the
He was
league, I'm pretty
he
sure.
was playing overseas, and then I don't think he's playing in the league right now. He also, but he or if he is, he recently got in, but he got a sneaker. I think Li Ning, the brand that does Dwayne Wade's shoe. They got. I'm not the biggest fan of the styles, but apparently they're pretty good in
Stephen
terms
Barry's type of Starberry type of thing.
of. No, they're like actually like a different kind. Stephen Barry's like the Starberries were like they look like
And ones.
it looked like a moccasin shoe that they just made to look like.
No. They just look like a really generic. Like
It was terrible.
You know when Shaq had those shoes in Payless?
Yes,
Like it was like that.
but Shaq, I'll always respect Shaq because he said that he doesn't want like he could easily sell his shoe for $150, $200, but that doesn't allow the kid who can't afford it.
Shaq Gnosis ain't cheap. It's only the ones that he made. He put a separate pair out in Payless so they were affordable.
Of course, but that's fine.
Yeah.
How
many jobs does Shaq have?
Shaq is so fucking smart, yo.
Shaq
Shaq's got a doctorate. Shaq was a sheriff. Is. But I don't think he's active. I think he has the ability to. Shaq is like the spokesperson for fucking the general. He's got like he said it yesterday or not yesterday. Like I was watching an interview. I think it was early last year. Dude said he's got like 16 or 17 commercials out. He does
the general.
He's so smart. He's got so much money. It's ridiculous.
I know one of the stocks I have is Genius Brands, and they basically are like
he does Carnival.
They're like the Disney Plus type of thing. Like they're their competition. He's a spokesperson for one of them in one of their shows.
Does the Carnival like cruise lines? Like he's got his hand in a lot of things. So Shaq's different. He is like he's like a star and then a basket like a NBA superstar.
Dude, there's countless.
Because he was like a rapper, he was a rapper, a fucking actor.
There's countless examples of things like that, though. Like, there's mad people who dabble in. Once you got your foot in one door in the entertainment industry, it's that much easier to get into another one.
I guess this J. Cole situation is just a little different, and that's probably the best way.
I mean, you have,
but J. Cole, like, I don't know.
You have Childish Gambino who has an alter ego.
You see J. Cole ever playing maybe in the D League here?
The G League now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe.
I'm just saying, like
he just put out. Did you listen to his new album?
Yeah, the album is actually nice.
I was like, yo, the first thing I said when I saw the album coming, I was like, yo, Sam would be so excited. There's actually features on this album. Oh my god!
No, it was a good album.
Yeah.
It was a really good album, wasn't it? Like I think the more I listen to it, the more I like it more and more and more.
I listened to it twice through back to back yesterday. We're doing like some canvas painting thing that Sarah's now into. It's a good album. It's one of the first things was a different person's voice, which is what I was like, oh shit, like Cole's he must have heard Sam complain. I'm glad
he heard it.
Or he was like, yo, I got a basketball career now. I don't have time to put a whole album. I told
you the formula for a great Cole album was going to be less Cole, more other ingredients involved.
But we also have taken different stances on Cole albums because you are disappointed by them as a whole when they don't have any when he comes out like that.
There's also not as much college material. It's a little more different, more mature.
Yeah, for sure. Which he should have gotten away from anyway. He's a 35-year-old man.
I enjoy it. I thought it was good. I thought the first track was at that 9-5 South or whatever. That's just pretty dope. I think he just he did more of what I was hoping would do, and it's actually a good album. And the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it. And that's all I got to say about it. Like, I have nothing bad to say about that album whatsoever.
Yeah. Word. I take a
not even a little bit.
Take a very similar stance there. Yeah, I mean it was a good album. It was nice to see him kind of branch off of his normal recipe. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe he was like, "Yo, I've proved that he could do what he needs to by himself already." He got multi-platinum on every album that he's dropped as a solo with no features on it.
Yeah, he's achieved a lot. He's achieved a lot.
Yeah. You've done what you need to do already, so now you can go out and just have fun with your craft and whatever.
100%.
And of course, I mean he's probably another person who's focused on other things. Like, did you see the press conference with Kyrie Irving the other day? Yesterday.
Oh yeah, Kyrie. Yeah, but Kyrie. The more he speaks, the more I respect like how he goes about talking. Like, he's like, there's just more to talk about, or more that takes up the space in my mind than fucking basketball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of injustices going on in the world, and we all know we all can kind of surmise what that is right now. We like to keep it light here.
Yeah, but we could take a quick moment, of course, and prayers up for all the Palestinians. We're Palestinian.
Yes.
So, I don't want to get too political, and I don't want to insult everybody, but the Israeli part of people who are responsible for a lot of this.
Yeah, that's some
fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
I know a lot of the citizens are also just so
it's
the government's type of thing.
It's obviously it's like that, but it becomes generational, and just like racism here, it's like a taught thing, and it's like learned behavior, right? Because you're not going to grow up thinking like, if you would just assume that you would just literally just assume they were part of you because you literally live in the same place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's learned behavior. So the younger ones that are doing it are obviously not born thinking that.
Which is all biased, right?
Right, but it's all bullshit. It's all fucked up. And honestly, like, there's no, there's only one side of this coin. And like, you're not gonna you're not gonna tell me otherwise. And I don't care what you got to say. We only got 140 subscribers. If all 40 you feel otherwise, you can unsubscribe right now.
Word, for sure. I mean, it's like, listen, you want to talk about your past of being dehumanized and you can't go and do that to another group of people and think it's okay. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck
not
you,
at all.
Opposite. Shout out to the whole fucking
whole shit.
And I mean, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I don't think Israel would feel so empowered if it wasn't for the U.S. in the first place. So the U.S. need to get out there and take care of this.
Do what they're supposed to do here.
This is human life we're talking about.
100%.
And that's our pop's homeland is where he came from, is where he grew up, it's where he got pushed out as a kid from war and shit. So it's enough is enough with that. I don't know. I just somebody in power's got to affect change, because only so much. I mean, we could get awareness out there. There's rallies going on in Chicago downtown right now. So shout out to everybody out there for the cause.
Indeed. But it's not going to do anything until the world actually wakes up and realizes what's going on.
Yeah.
Or not even realizes, acknowledges it.
Right.
Yeah.
So for sure, keep the Palestinians in your thoughts. Try to contribute any way you can. Even if it's just telling a friend about it. Kind of making them awake to what happened and why things are the way they are. That goes a long way. So.
It does. Media is not going to tell you what you need to know.
No, of course not.
Yep.
So let's move from that, because again, I don't want to spend too much. I mean, everybody should be pretty aware of what's happening. It's not like this is the first ever occurrence of this. This has been going on forever.
So it's been happening for a while.
There was something we wanted to talk about on a more bright
JVP.
note. Yeah, well, that's not
it's not the brightest, I guess. But I will say that, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, I knew one because he said it. He was like, this at this point, no matter what happens, this can never be the same again because of where we've taken it.
Yeah, I mean, we've given background on it before, but let's just give a little quick recap. So, basically, Joe Budden Podcast been around for like good 6 years plus now. Same recipe for the last like 500 episodes has been Joe Budden, Rory, Maul. Parks is off camera, but he's there. And then whatever the rest of the cast and crew is. They had a falling out, and nobody was really sure 100% what it was about at first. But basically, for about 6 weeks, Joe was there, had other co-hosts filling in. Mal and Rory were gone for whatever reason they were, and then they came back. They did 2 episodes. They went on like a podcast-wide vacation, and when they were supposed to come back, it ended up being just Joe Budden. The guys didn't show up, and basically that pretty much signified the end there. Joe fired Rory right there, while he was recording.
On recording right there, on live or whatever you would say.
Yeah, and he just kind of aired out whatever things he wouldn't really talk about too much at first. Then Rory and Mal put out a response video,
which I haven't listened to yet.
I listened to the better part of it. I didn't finish the whole thing yet. But when it all came down to it, it was about money. It was. Now, mind you, again, none of these people are broke. They all made a shit ton of money. They all could probably continue to make a lot of money if they would, figure their shit out. But basically, they had contracts that were percentage partners, whatever, like PPP, whatever that kind of contract is, right? So basically, whatever profit they make, they all get a percentage of it. They're per partner.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the specifics of their contract are not like we don't know 100%.
Yeah, they didn't go too in depth with it, but their response video, they were just like, we had percent partnership contracts.
I guess, and then the thing is, they do, and he was saying in his rebuttal this morning some about that they do get a percentage, but they didn't like what they seen, and it was because of the fact that he was saying that yes, if we had this $1 million deal. First person, for instance, and of that you get paid taxes, you pay this, you pay that, you pay this, you pay that, and once whatever he nets, they get a percentage of that.
Yeah,
not of the million, right?
Right.
And I guess that's what the contract actually states, that they get a percentage of what he nets, not they're part of the podcast. Like it's too much. It's a lot of like
legal
lawyer.
lingo.
It's a lot of lawyer speak.
Legal lingo.
Yeah. So anyway, I would say I just away from all that kind of. Whoa. So it is what it is right now. Like I think his problem is that he's mad that they didn't trust him enough to think that he would tell them the truth about what was going on, right? And they're more concerned about the money, which is whatever. But I don't know.
Their beef is with his transparency, and his beef is with their disability to trust him,
to trust what transparent or how transparent he is being.
Right.
So, and then we're not inside. We're not in the inside. We're only speculating on what it is. But there's a lot of people who watch this podcast.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more public. More knowledge coming out. More whatever. So
yeah, so
it's a bad public breakup, is what it is.
Yeah, they all handle it poorly. It's like if me and Adam were to beef, like if Dave was still regularly part of this, and we all had our beefs, and we talked about it, and we were able to speak about it.
Yeah.
And I think we have the benefit of not having. Well,
money involved.
Money involved.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it
muddies the waters.
We are if you fortunately broke as shit.
Like, first of all, when you have emotions involved, it muddies the waters, and they all have a long-standing friendship, so there's emotions. Boom. Then you got money involved, and money also muddies the waters. It's those are like the two main things. Like any breakup that you've ever probably witnessed or heard about, it's either about money or somebody's emotions.
Ego is a motherfucker with men. Yeah. It's funny, as easy as men seem to be able to squash things, it's
falling outs.
Falling outs can happen, and we also won't speak to each other when it's more easily like it's more easily solvable when you open up the lines of communication. And I can't speak for women, but it's funny, like we always watch Jersey Shore, right? And in Jersey Shore, they'll be showing the chicks all fighting, talking shit, cussing each other out, screaming like incoherently, and then they'll flip to the next scene, like to a to a different part of the house, and the guys are sitting there like playing volleyball with each other, laughing, and like it's such a beautiful day out, you know. Like remember the Family Guy episode where Stewie put them in the simulation, and the guys woke up in the hospital, and there was nobody around but them, and they were trying to figure out where everybody was, and they didn't solve it correctly, but at least they got home, and they were like, I guess I live here, you live there, and they slept. And then like Stewie's like, the women haven't even made it out of the fucking hospital, and they're just like beating each other's asses and shit. It's like, I don't know, but it just seems like men are able to solve tiffs
even
a little bit
even
easier.
in my dealings with women.
You just can't add money, apparently. Money is what fucks it all up.
In my dealings with women, it's as simple as this. They are happy to talk and let you know what's going on with their lives, whether you want to hear it or not. But as soon as you want to tell them, hey, you know, I got some things I'd like to get off my chest, that's when the problems start. So when women who have that same theory are trying to interact with each other, you're bound to butt heads.
See,
like, men don't need to talk.
I guess I don't have that problem in my relationship. Like me and Vivi, like we'll both like, you know, I can come home and just talk for a little bit, talk shit about whatever's going on,
Yeah.
and she'll do the same.
That's how it should be. You know,
yeah,
that's why it works.
That's why it works. There's, you know, but yeah, I think I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't know why I got to that dynamic, but the Joe Budden podcast, they just, you add money to the mix.
Yeah.
You add corporate business like dealings with each other, people who started off as you know, friends and closer friends at that. So once you add that element to this, it becomes sticky.
Yeah.
To say that, you know, for lack of a better term, it becomes like a sticky situation that now you're like, okay, well, let's have the lawyers deal with this. You don't like how the lawyers have dealt with it. You don't like how they've negotiated. It becomes a thing of
course,
like,
there is like a version of entitlement when you're dealing with your friends is too. Like, yo, you can't treat me like that. Like, I'm your boy. I'm not like this guy off the street you never met before.
yeah, but I think at some point you have to do that because,
well, for sure. Listen, the phrase "don't mix business with pleasure" came from somewhere, and it's not like there's not some proof behind it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think, but also I think, you know, communication is super key in anything you do. Like, if it's one thing I try to remember, it's like, and I don't always follow it. You're not always good at like following your own advice and your own what have you. But for me, I'm always just like, okay, communication is key. So if, regardless of what's happening, like at work, if I did something incorrectly or whatever, I got to tell my manager, like, listen, you know, with detailing, listen, we tried to get this would happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, we'll fix it, whatever it is. But if you communicate it instead of maybe they don't find it, you know, whatever. Like, remember that Christmas we broke the Christmas tree?
I think that's a story that's been told here before.
Have we told the story about breaking Christmas trees?
Yeah.
Well, either way, me and Adam decided we'll hide it. Right. Long story short, we were fighting. We broke it. Oh shit, mom's home, and then we became partners. So. I forget how we did it. Like, I think we were able to prop it.
Yeah, we turned the tree and we propped it against the bay window that it was.
Yeah, but like it didn't look like it. It looked like it was standing straight, but it wasn't. Right, and
so basically we broke one of the spokes on the base.
Yeah, there was no fixing this.
No, so we literally had to turn it and make sure that one side was leaning.
Anything me and you did that broke in the house, it was definitely not something that was an easy, quick fix.
No,
busting through walls of drywall. Like,
but shout out.
How are we gonna fix this?
Shout out to the sibling partnerships that develop out of those
yeah,
things.
You know, me and Adam work
like,
together.
Damn. All right, well, listen, we got
damn, dude, I'm sorry I stole off you, but mom's coming downstairs and we'll never be able to fight again.
We'll both get our ass whooped. So we better do something.
Just wipe that blood off. Stop fucking crying. Adam had the mad ugly cry face. Maximum ugly. Nobody had a cry face like Ashraf, though.
You're bound to have a maximum ugly cry face when you have glasses, man. You can't look pretty with glasses.
Adam had an ugly ass cry face, and he had this stupid Kool-Aid smile everywhere he went, so he looked like this fucking like, I don't know.
I mean, listen, man. Ugly Betty, America Ferrera, like just how it works. You take these shits off, and you just become. So
you've called yourself
numbers.
America Ferrera.
No. I'm using
and
her
Ugly
as
Betty.
I'm using her as a metaphor.
You couldn't come up with like.
Well, I'm just saying, like
Clark Kent, Batman. I mean, Superman.
Well, have you ever seen Ugly Betty?
Yes.
Have you ever seen America Ferrera when she's not Ugly Betty?
I guess
that's my point. It's just a difference between like what you look like. I'm not really comparing myself to a woman.
Well, you said that you did.
The difference in her appearance when you have glasses on compared to when you take them off.
All right.
You never understand anything, man.
So anyway, no, listen, long story short, I wish that the guys can, that they're not going to get back to potting because it can't get back to potting. But I just hope that they can settle this and not. I don't believe that Maul and Joe can ever be friends again.
Which is weird because it seems like on Joe's end, he's more mad at Rory and like not as door closed with Maul.
And that's because I think they have a longer history.
But Maul
but
is
I
taking
think
opposite stance there.
Maul is. I like Maul, but Maul tries to. And maybe he is that way, but he tries to come off as a specific type of person and sometimes too cool for school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that bites him in the ass sometimes.
Yeah,
I think right now, I think he's letting his pride like. I don't know. Joe called him the dude that would buy detergent and keep it in his own room when he lived with him.
Maul wasn't happy about.
He said he wasn't. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he didn't like that being brought out. Maybe it's not a true thing. I don't know. But I don't know why Joe would just make that up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when he did the pod without them, and he fired Rory and have nothing to say with Maul. He's like, Maul, once you figure your shit out, like you can come back pretty much. And
and
Rory, he was like, you're not welcome back.
Yeah, but then he took that back and he said, listen, if you can, I think that podcast was strictly off emotion.
Oh, for sure, he was not happy that day.
I think after he's like, listen, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't sue anybody. Go make money. I wish you the best. And I don't know. I have a beef with the idea that, okay, they don't work for him, but it's weird, man. You can't just be an employee of a place and say, hey, well, I get paid this much based on this percentage. Show me the amount I'm getting paid from,
Yeah.
And when you show me it, I can't be like, oh, that's...
Like, oh, I want more.
Yeah, well, right, like... So they got mad that it was 400 and not the million. Like this is the number he was saying. He was on live today, and like I don't know if these are hard. These aren't hard numbers. These are obviously probably fake numbers. But for the example, he said they saw the 400, were angry. Like what the fuck? Like what is this? Instead of the million essentially that they thought they were going to get money from, but it's off of what he nets, not what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of expenses involved when you run an operation.
And
like
I don't
that.
know. So my final question about this specifically is, where do you side? Do you side with Joe or do you side with the guys?
I'm more inclined to side with Joe. The reason for that is, yes, there's some the chemistry between all three of them is what made the show, right? And four of them, because Parks doesn't. I don't know why they don't add Parks' name to the show, but whatever.
Right,
he already explained.
I would be like, yo, if anything, just put me on camera.
He did explain why they put with Parks with Rory and Maul. So
yeah,
I guess
they wanted that. They fought for that.
So. The way I look at it is, Maul, he's always been fortunate enough to be attached to somebody who made his life a little easier, right? And it started off with his brother, big Rockefeller co-founder. Like,
Maul's never had to hold a job, so I don't expect him to understand like how it works in that type of realm of idea. Like,
I just mean like, okay, so if you're looking at the world of like fanship. Nobody knew who Maul was. Like the people in the industry probably knew who Maul was. Like he had a lot of connections because, of course, his brother. People know who his brother is. Like know who Biggs is. So he didn't really have like a fan base that he brought to the party, right?
No.
And Rory, same thing. Like, okay, yes, his background is in Sony. Whatever position he held there.
But the benefit of Rory is his industry connections and his brings
a different expertise.
His perspective from that industry, like he's part of it. Maul obviously too as well. Parks is a big engineer producer with a lot of big names in hip hop,
huge names.
And so that's why this podcast works so well.
So what
it was like the cheat code.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is Maul and Rory, while they did bring substance to the show, like when they feel like being an active participants, right? But they didn't bring a fan base. Joe had a fan base. Given his fan base,
go ahead and start it without the Joe Budden starter pack.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with him because it's just as hard. It would be just as hard for Rory and Maul without them being associated to the Joe Budden podcast, and that would have to have happened before they were on the Joe Budden podcast because now their name is who their name is. But for them to have started a podcast, the Rory and Maul podcast, would be just as difficult for them to get off the ground without any industry connections or any network that they do currently have.
You-
It's like
you-
us. We have no like. We're just trying to get off the ground, grassroots, however
Yeah.
you want to say it, and it's difficult.
You have to attribute more to Joe's name than you do right now, right? Because
I
Say what you will.
I get he's a self-sabotage. He's an
Yeah.
asshole, but like I don't like a lot of the shit that comes. I'm a big Joe Budden fan, and I'm again I side with him as well in this.
I'll say this: say what you will about his music career, right? Even though, like, after the original Joe Budden release, the first solo album came out, even though things kind of like tanked on a commercial level from there, the underground following was enormous. Say what you will. I mean, those who know, right? But then you also had Complex, you had Revolt, you had like State of the Culture, that was Complex, right?
Yeah,
Then you had Love and Hip Hop. Like, he was Joe Budden TV. Like,
Joe Budden TV was like the
as a media
like,
personality,
yeah.
he was much more. People liked him a lot more as a media personality than a rapper.
He's a polarizing figure.
Right.
Listen, when it comes down to it, I think it's just a matter of numbers and not liking the numbers you've seen, though they may be truthful, and poor communication within a circle of males who
common male friendship
who
right
are
there.
friends and love each other, and that's where that lies. I think we all have had situations where we've had friends where poor communication leads to lack of a friendship anymore, and that's just the way kind of things go.
And I guess you can't really say this from all, but I mean, Rory, you check your bank account today. If you subtracted Joe Budden Podcast from here,
Where are you at?
What is it looking like? You know what I mean?
Where you at?
Like, he might
and
still
money
be,
isn't in everything.
he might still be in a successful place.
Money isn't everything, but I think if you're thinking there should be more in it, the facts are that this is what is there. You got to just take it for what it is and understand that that's where you're at.
And I make that an
think
important
long term, not short term.
I make that an important point as well, because like you look at DJ Academics getting involved because he likes to just throw fuel on the fire because him and Rory have their thing. He's saying, "Oh, these guys are bringing home $60,000 a year." Like, no, they're millionaires now. Like, they've made a lot of money. Even
money.
they said it on their response video. Like, they all are in a position where they all are well off. So I don't know, man. Like, it sounds like something petty over a few dollars, but I think it's deeper than the money. I think it's just more
things things behind the scenes we won't know.
It's more of their interactions and their ability to kind of be straightforward with each other. And
I think we should just end it in saying, listen, we love the podcast, we're supporters, but before anything, try to get the friendship right, man. That's really the most important thing. Money
still follow
comes,
these
money,
guys.
Exactly. Money comes, money goes, but hopefully, at least leave it in an amicable way where you don't regret never having said certain things to the person that you love.
Yeah.
That being said,
keep checks and balances around you. You know?
Exactly. And it is at the end of the day, if it can't be fixed, it is what it is. We appreciate the years of entertainment, and thanks for kind of paving the way for this kind of what we're looking to do here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of what it was, right? Like, started watching it, I'd be having a shitty day in the office, like just frustrated about whatever, and I'm listening to that, so like there's always laughs in the background, and I'm not sitting here like just angry about whatever I'm angry about. The whole time I have a distraction, and I can kind of get to work, get in the flow, and just like listen and do what I got to do.
Yeah,
and that's what they provided, and that's part of the value that we want to bring to your lives here a little bit, right? Like, hey, there's a lot of bullshit going on, but at least this is entertaining. And while I'm sitting here doing things that I'd rather not have to do, I at least have like this value of entertainment.
Yeah, come check it out.
So we're doing our best there. Again, Patreon announcement will be made only when it's up. I don't want to talk any more about it because I just feel like I'm a big liar at this point, in time right now.
Do sneakers, right?
Yeah, we could do shoes for sure.
Shoes and get out of here.
Yeah, I got on these infrared sixes. Nice clean shoe, nice summer shoe. They probably would work better with what I got going on here today if they were low tops, but it's not the OG fashion. So.
Yeah, I'm just wearing the same shit, Royal Toe ones, but I wore them with the shirt, so yeah, it's vintage.
That's what you got to do, man. When you don't have sneakers to bring to the table, you got to bring a shirt.
Yes, that's true.
That's why I throw on this vintage one.
He's like, I think I'm gonna throw this show to Taco.
He ain't been number one in a long time on a jersey.
Man, it's crazy.
And yeah, so shout out back to, I don't even want to shout them out because fuck them, but sneakers. For the first time, I was actually able to get a shoe. If you look at like my activity on the app, is like not selected, not selected, not selected. Oh, you got this one. And then,
What'd you get?
I got the Legend Blue 11s, low tops.
That's nice. That's nice.
Also another nice summer shoe, but those are one of those things that just make me nervous.
They're gonna get dirty.
They're so easy to get dirty. But I was happy to get them. I was happy to finally secure something.
It's always nice to win.
Yeah. But yeah, and hopefully Sam, he was able to kind of like late get a pair of 7s, but
we'll see. We'll see. I'm not even gonna jinx it. We'll talk about it if it comes.
Yeah, for sure. Then you can maybe wear those and not have the same shoes on for a couple of months in a row.
Fuck you, man.
But anyway, real fast. I want to shout out Glenn, and obviously shout out Glenn because obviously shout out is just a tradition. But I've actually been speaking to him more recently, and we might see him pop up once coming up sometime here. So
cool.
But yeah, that's all I really got for you. Unless you have anything else you would like to talk about.
I got nada.
We will say goodbye for now, and thank you for watching episode number 92.
Literally, peace in the Middle East.
If you plan on Patreon, there will be after the pod is the after party, and after the party I'm gonna kick him out, and then
something like that. Yeah,
whatever. So, but again, thank you for tuning in. Go and follow us on all the socials and whatnots. Subscribe to the video if you are not yet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Stay tuned for that after party, y'all.
Yeah, and then we will holler at the rest of y'all non-Patreon people on episode 93.
Alrighty. Peace,
kid.